Yeah, I think I'm not too familiar with wookl civ pool, but GUA does have a large preference for the Brits, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with players going for like their strongest picks right off the bat on Kamchatka, so there you go. Yeah, they did indeed click into this one. So we're in for a ride.
Yeah, British versus China. I'm guessing H3 we would see some arquebus, perhaps some Chengdao, maybe even some cavalry from China. Okay, welcome everyone to
Yeah.
We week one. Are going to see. I mean, of course, it's British, where they have a lot of options for them. Brits always do.
Yeah, the British. If I had to guess, and I could be completely wrong, I feel like GUA is going to go for some sort of semi build and try to get to the fortress area and get some falconets out to deal with what the Chinese, you know, army will be able to field. But yeah, we do have these players. I'll let you introduce them because you do have the camera.
Yeah, so we have GiveUAnxiety over here. It looks like it was a wood start, so that's good for both players. Probably, I don't know, favors both of them a lot. Extra village perhaps for another villager if the northern refugees, I believe it is sent first, and obviously in a TP. They can also, of course, go for the trade post and a village as China. Yeah, GiveUAnxiety in the blue on the right-hand side of the map, and we have wookl on the top as China in red. The map looks
Indeed, we do.
really fair, fair mines. It looks like wookl might have an extra hunt, but then there's also this hunt that favors GiveUAnxiety a little bit more. So it's pretty fair, I think.
Yeah, that looks about even. That looks pretty good. Oh, GUA did take his fry tag and delete the two goats that wookl managed to wrangle, so that's pretty good for GUA. I think right there he's getting
Yeah,
those
for sure.
goats. That's -2, especially for China because they do have the village where they can fatten those goats up pretty effectively.
Yeah,
And now wookl is attacking Freitag with attack instead of building his trade post.
yeah. I wonder if
Uh,
that's intentional. I mean, if he
he's
knows
gonna
where
miss the pass.
where's, yeah, I think he
Yeah, I
will
think
mix the
that
pass
made him
because
miss
of
the
it.
pass.
Yeah, he should miss it. You're right. That was perhaps a mistake, or it definitely was a mistake. That sucks for him.
Yeah, that's not to mention he could have. wookl would have been able to put the trade post down almost immediately and get like 2 extra passes out of that, but he instead opted to get a wood treasure a little bit earlier and did not make that TP immediately.
Yeah.
But you know, it does influence the game a little bit, but it's not going to decide it.
The biggest reason why it doesn't decide it is because as soon as that TP got up, he did in fact get a shipment. So if he was wanting to send a card age 1, it wouldn't have been delayed at all. Well, I mean, a little bit, but not like 25
Yeah,
seconds like we've seen in other matches. Um,
you're correct in that one.
we have a fight going on over this treasure of 75 food. Um, I mean, both of them could take it. I don't
A
know.
little bit of treasure contention here, and
Uh,
I think GUA got it.
I think GOA did too. Yeah. Yeah, indeed.
So he's going to be feeling pretty good about himself, managing to steal that from underneath the nose of wookl.
Yeah.
I think wookl actually saved his first shipment.
Yeah, he's shaved his first shipment. He hasn't sent it. Um, is that standard for China? I'm not
No,
super
I would
familiar.
not say so. I would send northern refugees. It is only a 2 villager card if you start with a trade post, but that's fairly atypical. I think only the Portuguese are realistically a civilization that saves the
Right.
first shipment, if ever. But again, wookl, may have something else in mind.
Yeah.
And on the other side of it, GUA is actually going for Virginia Company.
Yeah, he goes Virginia Company. He's getting Maynard down already. He's got most of his villagers, basically all but one, onto wood. And GUA saves his explorer by blocking the monk. That's pretty nice move by him.
Yeah, that was some good micro out of GUA.
Yeah.
That was really good. Yeah, if there is a map where you're going to go for Virginia Company, it should be Kamchatka. There is so much food on this map. There's a ton of natural resources, and Virginia Company is, it does soak up the resources on the map pretty quickly. So this is an intelligent play, I think, here by GOA. In the
Yeah.
meantime, I think wookl. Well, we'll have to see what he does. We'll have to see what he does.
Yeah, we can look at the decks a little bit. We've got a pretty normal deck from Brits, very normal. Only has 3 military shipments age 3, but if you're playing along age 2, then that's totally fine. wookl has basically every military shipment possible for age 2, even 8 Chukanu flamethrower age 2 and 10 Rattan shields. 700 wood, 700 coin. Has
It,
300 export.
that does deserve to be underlined. wookl, who is playing for the Mandarin Duck squad, does have the Mandarin Duck squad shipment
Yep.
in his deck.
Perhaps
So
that was very intentional.
I think it was. It's actually not that bad of a shipment. I mean,
It's
is
not
it? I don't know.
terrible. I mean,
It's like 500 food for a flamethrower because you have the 8 Chukanu that's free. So
right.
actually, maybe it does suck. I
It,
don't know.
it's not that great, but if you only have one war academy and you just need to, like, you're constantly creating out of it, need more military units out, it is something. It is also worth mentioning that you aren't forced to make pikes or the Quang pikemen or the steppe raiders with it. So it is pure Chukonu. It's pure anti-infantry military shipment. So it's something. We have 80 coin
Indeed.
picked up here by wookl. No, neither player has walled any of the choke points. Lots of mainers coming up from GiveUAnxiety. He does have a barracks out, and he has a market currently doing steel traps, and gang saw's already in. We have 700 wood is the first shipment for China, so it's not. It's seemingly not a pure FF. Um, it's
He's
curious.
actually going to be a little bit aggressive here in the first age.
Yeah,
Putting down the War Academy in the middle of the map, a little bit forward here. Does not have a market or anything else for the time being, so I think he's going to be pumping out just a ton of Chokonu and Kyung Pikeman. So,
yeah. I've seen a
so
lot
he,
of Chinese players recently go for the step riders with the Chukunu for the standard reforms. I don't know if that's gonna happen. Certainly it's an option. Um, I value the pikemen a little bit more, but the step riders, if they don't have any cavalry out, it does give you a little bit of the mobility advantage. You can raid the enemy, and they're forced to be a little bit on the defensive more.
yeah, no, you are correct. Just checking Twitch chat a little bit. It does look like your volume settings are just a little bit down, and so am I. So
Alright, I
for the
will
time being,
turn myself up and also yours. Thank you for mentioning that. Alright, so we have a village coming out from China. Is likely going to be shipping units from it. Couple idle villagers there. For GiveUAnxiety, it looks like he's going finally building a stable. He's also his fourth shipment was 5 villagers, so he has gone very heavy into economy, and you can see that in the recalculated economic unit populations, 39 to 21. If wookl really has to put some pressure here and gain an advantage here, otherwise he's going to be severely behind in economy, which he's doing so right now.
yeah, that barracks is underneath a lot of fire. These musketeers, they don't want to be trading against the Choku. These are very good, actually, colonial units to have in the colonial age. So trading a little bit of fire here between the musketeers and the Choku, but I think the barracks is going to go down. That's a ton of military units.
That's a whole lot.
Excuse me.
Yeah, 42
Yeah, from China all the way
for
back.
China and 16 for GiveUAnxiety currently. The question is whether he can hold on, keep his TC up. There is defender's advantage is a real thing though with being able to pop units out and Minutemen. You can suddenly get like 15 military population all at once if done correctly.
Yeah. GOA is underneath so much pressure at this point. He does have his stables up. He is pumping out some husser. So he is, answering the pressure from wookl, but uh, he's going to need just a little bit more oomph on the field if he wants to stay in this game. wookl drag boxing his army around, looking for something to kill with his military advantage, whether it's villagers or maybe these musketeers. little bit of indecisiveness, I think, out of wookl.
Yeah, we have a lot of. I'm going to the military units tab. We have 17 pikemen out. That should protect the Chukonu really well from the cavalry. So I'm not sure how GiveUAnxiety is going to engage this with just muskets and cavalry. If he has enough out, it's a possibility for sure, but it could be a hard match. Okay, we have the pop coming out from the TC. Is he pulling them back? He is.
Mandarin Duck Squad is in. The flamethrower
Mandarin Duck
declared for
Squad,
the intro
nice.
Bruno. If this is a time to get excited for this match, this is the moment.
I'm pretty sure wookl has seen the stable, but I don't know that he's seen as much cav or seen all the cav that GiveUAnxiety has. GiveUAnxiety is definitely going to need some more cav though. If he pops out 5, we'll go to units and queue so we can see this real quick. There we go. Five cav coming out. There we go. So let's see if he can engage here. It's coming in from both sides.
There, and I think that GiveUA has a pretty good situation on there. There's not a ton of anti-cav here from Chinese player, and there's a lot of
There's not a lot, but I think there might be just enough. It's really close. Yeah, a lot of that cav is pushed back.
The flamethrower does go down.
He's got a few more pikes coming in. It's really, really close. This is make it or break it. If one side wins this game, this really decisively, then they're gonna win the game, I think. Yeah, GiveUAnxiety. It looks like he pushes this back, and it will. I don't know when the GG is going to be called, but at this point, he's so far ahead economically. I don't know that there's a way back for China.
Yeah, that was quite the route.
Yeah, GG.
Yeah, there you go. wookl does call GG.
Yeah.
So, well played by GiveUA on that one.
Yeah, very well played. That was threading the needle there on his timings for getting military units out. If he would have ecoed or boomed a little bit more, then he would have. I don't think he would have won that. That was actually a really, really close fight, even though at the end of it didn't look like it. If there was like 5 less cav or something there, I think it would have lost that.
Yeah,
We'll look at the statistics. Yeah, it was down to the wire for sure. Look at the statistics. Yeah, GiveUAnxiety just cleaned up really well. Combat XP still pretty close. Look at the villager population. You can just see British pull away like crazy there. Resources gathered, same thing. With a lot of villagers being idled, it was China was keeping it somewhat close, but idled villagers and you're still ahead in resources gathered. You're looking good. So yeah, we'll look at the military unit population. China had more. Their units H2 are not amazing, but I mean there's something. It was a good engagement from GiveUAnxiety. He had 5 cav come in from the right hand side, and the musketeers picked off a lot of the pikes and was able to clean that up.
Some really solid play out of GiveUA. We see why British are his best civilization.
Yeah. Yeah, British are exceptional at booming, so China had to put some pressure early. If you don't, then they're just going to have a better ego and they'll just scale better. But he wasn't able to put enough pressure to stop the boom. All right, we're going to get out of that game and get into the next one shortly. Yeah. It looks like ESO is down. I'm going to go back to the stream overlay and we will be back very, very shortly. All right, during stream.
Yeah.
What do I need to do for?
I just checked the stream. I'm definitely like still on the quieter side of things. So.
Yeah. I'm All right, guys, we are back to game two in week one of GiveUAnxiety versus wookl. Nilla Ninjas versus the Manchurian Duck Squad. GiveUAnxiety is going to pick Civ first. It's on Tuparo. Yep, Ninjas first.
Yep, so GA will have to take the first pick on this map. Just prior to him playing this tournament match, he was actually streaming, and I believe that he still is, so you can check out the perspective on his end if you'd like. But I did see him play Germany on this map, so perhaps he will opt for that. Don't quote me on that, though. It's just a speculation, trying to guess what the players are going to pick before they actually do it. It's kind of like a mini game when you're commentating.
Yeah. No, it's good to try to speculate and figure out what players might do. Last game, last Tuparo that we did with the show match, there was it didn't spawn very fair. I hope it spawns really fair this time. Germany, yeah, okay, he does pick Germany. All right, and then wookl is gonna pick next. Let's see, Germany here. What civ might you pick into Germany on Tuparo?
There are a few civilizations I'd give a shot. The French, the Dutch, perhaps even the Japanese civilization, if you're comfortable with that. Germans are like very good, but they are a civilization that has fair matchups against several other different civilizations.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think it comes down, excuse me, to what you're most comfortable with.
Yeah,
Like for me, I'd pick Spain into this one just because I'm comfortable with that matchup. But
right.
wookl looks like he's going for the Russians.
Russians, yeah. I could see that. Okay, Russian is picked. And we have our civs picked. We have our map ready. Wuko's going to check on his deck real quick. Russian versus Germany. Yep. Alrighty. This should be a good match. Last game went really quickly, but it was also GiveUAnxiety's arguably best civ. Brits just has the ability to boom like crazy, and it's when you're really good with Brits, it's really, really hard to beat them.
Yeah, Brits is not only one of the best saves on patch, but GUA is very experienced in playing them. He has played them to death in so many different scenarios. It's truly one of his better civilizations, and it's not a surprise to me to see him pick up a win with that pretty quickly. And there is a Civ reset after game 3, so we should be able to see his Brits in action a second time throughout the course of this playoff 5.
Yeah, if you choose to do so. Just waiting
Oh,
on
sure.
the green up, and we'll get going into this one. This is game 2, week 1, GiveUAnxiety versus wookl. How excited are you guys in chat, man? This could be a really good game. Germany versus Russia, Tuparo.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's take a look at the map. It's 4, 5, 6, 7. There's one more mine on wookl's side, but a couple of the mines are closer to the middle. I think that's pretty close. Um, as far as hunts go, 2 in the back, 3. I think maybe it favors GiveUAnxiety the hunts just a little bit, but it's really close. I think it's a close enough
Yeah, this is
map.
fine as long as those mines are pretty even. I think this is a pretty good map. So we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and soldier on into this one.
Yeah, this time it looks like it's a 100 wood start. It's good to note we have let's see. Germany is gathering only food at the moment. Not looking like a TP start from him. It's definitely a possibility as Russia. I mean, sorry, as Germany. Got wookl
I
that
think he's
spawned in the red on the bottom right, and we have GiveUAnxiety in the blue on the top left. Go ahead, Incog.
Yeah, my apologies. I was just musing to myself. I have a feeling that straight age up, no market, no TP, no nothing. And then we may see something similar, I think, out of the Russian player, despite him picking up that 70 wood. Both players are just going to skip all those, uh, plays and just go for the straight age up. I think that's my estimation of that. We did
Yeah.
see we'll pick up that 70 wood, so that's pretty good for him.
Yep, we got 100 coin treasure that wookl is eyeing right here. For the treasures already pick up, wookl picked up 70 wood, like you're saying. GiveUAnxiety picked up 50 XP. That can be pretty good as Germany. Try to get your first shipment out sooner. As you see, they're both pretty close into their first military shipment coming out, despite Germany getting it significantly slower, needing more XP for their first shipment.
Yeah, Germany does have that malice against for experience getting their shipments in.
Yeah. They do get a really good first shipment in 2 settler wagons, and age 2 onwards they get Ulans with their shipments. So it's most Germany players would appreciate the German shipments so much that it more than offsets the the extra cost per each shipment.
Yeah, the penalty for that. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. That is the design of the German civilization. And of course, Russia on their side of it, they have distributism. Yeah, I cannot pronounce that word for the life of me, but yeah, that is.
Distributivism, I believe is how you
Either way,
pronounce it.
GOA did pick up that 100 XP, so that's going to be almost like a trade post pass for him in the first stage. So he's
Yeah.
going to be pretty pleased with that. And
Yeah,
go ahead and click up to the next stage.
Germany getting 150 XP so far, and wookl getting 70 wood, 120 coin. That's pretty even. I probably, I would take it as either player, honestly. As Germany getting the extra XP is really nice, and Russia getting the extra wooden coin is also nice.
Russia should be able to slap down a market pretty quickly here, should he choose to do so. But I think he's not. He's just going to bring the 3 villagers forward and go for the blockhouse. We
Yeah.
might be seeing a rush out of wookl here.
Yeah, we have a TP coming out for Germany. He's continuing to herd this hunt. Yeah, blockhouse coming forward, like you're saying, from wookl. That's very far forward. He couldn't have done it much closer to the TC.
I don't think he could have. He probably checked the limits on the TC radius for that one.
Yep.
So we'll be seeing a very fast rush out of the Russian player that can be up just moments behind the German one.
Looking at the deck, we do have every single military shipment in age 2 for Russia, and for Germany, again, basically every military shipment. Lots of military shipments for Germany. That's pretty standard. Has several wood and coin crates also. Has 2 settler wagons, 3 settler wagons, 2 settler wagons. 2 settler wagons in H2 isn't always picked up, but pretty standard nonetheless. We do have Suvorov Reforms as a possible card for wookl. Otherwise,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
I
Otherwise,
like
a
that.
decent amount of shipments in H3 for Russia. Lots of military upgrades, though. A little bit more than Germany.
Indeed. Let's have a look here.
They both reached the colonial age. We can look at units in queue. Okay, starting out with muskets for Russia. That's a good play. Russia's weakness, one of their weaknesses is cavalry, especially in H2. Their muskets are weak. They don't have any pikes or they don't have really good anti-cav outside of the muskets. So a lot of players will start a stable and go cavalry versus Russia. GiveUAnxiety preemptively guessed that he would be making muskets, so he started with a barracks and gonna start probably some crossbow, maybe some pikes, because Russia also has the ability to ship Cossacks, 5 Cossacks, and then 4 Cossacks from their home city cards.
Yep. You called it. There's a batch of 5 pikemen out just looking to deny these Cossacks too much value. In
Right.
the meantime, it looks like his Ulans from GUA are sieging this house, but they're going to get retasked to raiding again.
Yeah, 1 Cossack does go down there. We have the Ulans coming in to raid on the right-hand side. I don't think he's going to pick up a villager. No, he doesn't, but causing a little bit of idle time.
Yeah, that's not bad nonetheless. I like that raid. Does disrupt things just a little bit in the Russian pace. And in the meantime, we do have some crossbowmen in queue for GUA. I think he's going to open up some crossbow pike, but then we'll have to see whether or not he commits to it, or whether or not he tries to sneak in and age up. We do have 700 wood on the ground for GUA.
He does.
Yeah,
He's not gathering any coin at the moment, and if we look at the upgrades, all he has is hunting dogs and great coats currently. We do have 2 blockhouses from wookl. He's just training 5 muskets right now. That's it. The Ulans over here might get caught.
oh, he doesn't. He just stays
Excuse
where he
me.
was and kind of plays them. I really like that. There's 2
Yeah, they do get
fast.
caught though. At least one does.
Yeah. Either sack the Ulan or not. It's pretty good, I think, from GUA getting just 1 Ulan out there. The full Cossack
On the
continuing to
left,
pursue
the
that lane.
muskets were not paying attention, and he loses a couple due to the Ulans. That's not something he wants to do. You're sieging the trade post, and I think he was probably focusing a little bit on the Ulan's raiding and maybe even the muskets going forward.
It looks like the Ulan and the Musket have started fighting again. 2 trash tier units against one another. The Ulan does win.
Yep.
EP Ulan's Ellie Giggle. No, I just that was tongue in cheek, just for the record. But
No, most people I think would agree with you.
yeah,
We have 5 here. Look at totally military units. We have 5 pikemen and 6 crossbowmen out from GiveUAnxiety, 4 Ulans. On the other side, it's 5 muskets and 4 Cossacks. We don't have any market ups yet from Russia. Look at text being researched, see if any are in queue. No, none are in queue. For Germany, we also have placer mines coming in. I really like placer mines as Germany. A lot of their military shipments cost a lot of coin. I mean, a lot of their military units cost a lot of coin, such as the Ulan, and later on, if he decides to go any Doppelsoldners or the war wagons. So I think it's
yeah,
good to get early.
yep. You're completely correct. Germany is a very coin-hungry civilization.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see what he does. He is going to click up to the Fortress Age here in a few moments, so that's going to Germany being able to get up to Fortress safely is what they want. So GOA is going to head over to the comfort zone of Germany. And in the meantime, I think that wookl is more interested in just massing up a ton of musketeers and Ulan Cossacks. Excuse me.
Yeah.
So
He
it's going to be
did
that.
ship 700 coin. We'll see if he idles a little bit and goes up to age 3 soon, or if he's going to use that coin for more military units. We'll look at units in queue. Just has a Cossack going up as a possibility. Yeah, for anyone curious, the age 3 shipments for Germany, even their mercenary cards, they have 9 Black Riders and 12 Jaegers, both of which are excellent. But you get more of them because you're Germany. You don't get the extra Ulans with these shipments. You get extra of that mercenary. So the 9 Black Riders and the 12 Jaegers are some of the best mercenary shipments in the game, actually.
Yeah, no, they are. It kind of plays into the German bonus of having better shipments at a slower rate. But yeah.
We have a bunch of Cossacks then on the left side, but GiveUAnxiety's eco is pretty well centralized with some pikes defending, so I don't think they're gonna get much value if he does try to raid. He is moving in. We look at the military units count, and it's 15 Cossacks, 10 Strelets, and 15 muskets versus 7 pikes, 6 crossbow, and 3 Ulan.
Yep. Some war wagons do come out
Yeah,
from the German, and out of the stables is 7 war wagons total.
seven war wagons. That's a good pop there. That's gonna immediately dissuade Russia from moving in. War wagons are a 3 population unit. They're ranged cavalry, 500 HP, 42 attack. They have a pretty good hit points and attack. They do have melee resist instead of range resist, so they're not quite as good versus ranged units compared to other ranged cavalry. But they're very, very good units.
Oh, and it looks like GOA did push out a little bit, but wookl is putting back and going to force the issue. All of the Cossacks are connecting with what Germany has. And Was this a little bit of an overstep from GUA? Some more pikemen and Minimen do join the fight.
I think it's as good of a fight as wookl could have asked for, considering the situation. He was able to engage a little bit far from the TC, got some free hits onto the X-bow before the war wagons even turned to shoot. It does look like it's getting cleaned up though. GiveUAnxiety just had better numbers, age advantage. We still have wookl in age 2 with the smaller military and equal economy, or very close. But it's not looking very good for him. He doesn't have the resources to click up. He already used 700 coin. That was kind of his window to push there. Maybe even he should have attacked a little bit sooner. Maybe with the age up resources coming in, you want to if you have a bigger army, you want to push in to the opponent when they're aging up before they can make use of the age advantage and military shipment advantage that they have.
You're completely correct. And now GUA is kind of cruising on this position where, he's up the next stage. He's ahead, slightly ahead in eco, but especially he's ahead in tech. And Russia kind of wants to get a mass of that is a raid that wookl does spot it though, so that's really good.
wookl spots it, but also GiveUAnxiety was a little bit slow to react. Both of them were slow to react. Could have definitely killed maybe 2 villagers right now if GiveUAnxiety had paid attention to it earlier. But only one goes down. They both respawn pretty quickly, or at around the same time. Second villager goes down. At the moment, the economies are definitely favors GiveUAnxiety. It's decently close though. If wookl can somehow age up, maybe he'll have an ability. I don't know at this point though. If you age up and don't make any military units, I'm not sure if you're going to even withstand it. Like, are you going to be able to hold your own until you get enough units out in age 3?
I don't believe so. I think that Germany kind of has the momentum going into this game. I think the Russian player's best bet at this point is for Germany to kind of overstep a little bit and for Russia to kind of spring a trap and force an overextension. But I think that aging up here to the next stage would be a little bit dicey for the Russian player. But at the same time, Germany has all of the room in the world to maneuver into, getting more shipments out, training more Ulans, exploiting their economic advantage. And
I feel
Russia
like
just
at
does
this
not have
point,
enough on the field.
yeah, I feel like at this point Russia would have to get a little bit lucky with finding villagers out. So maybe that's what he was trying to do there, looking for some villagers that were available, not protected. But if he had like gone on to this mine on the left here, right here, he might have been able to pull it back in his favor. But he doesn't find that. He's still stuck in H2, keeps on pumping units out. He doesn't have blockhouses around his town center, so and he doesn't have any military shipments left either for H2. Yeah, he shipped 700 food. He still is pretty shy on coin. He just spent all his units down. Cossacks coming in. I like Cossacks into Ulans quite a bit. It's a little bit more cost efficient, and the Ulans are fairly comparable to the Cossacks actually. We see 225 HP with 26 attack. This is before Boyars, a really good Russian shipment, comes in, and on the other side it's 216 with 44 attack. So it's pretty close in HP. The Ulans have more attack for sure. Once Boyars come in, the Cossacks definitely can hold their own versus the Ulans though.
Yeah, absolutely. However, we don't quite see Cossacks in. It looks like the 700 forced for wookl as opposed to Boyar, so he's not going to be too happy with that, and he's not going to hit that stride of really cost-effective Russian units just swamping the other player.
Yeah.
GUA is just so far ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't exactly look like it in military population or the recalculated economic unit population, but in reality he's a whole age ahead, and his military units are just that much stronger. And in age, if you have an age advantage and you have your units upgraded, your units are significantly stronger than someone that is stuck in an earlier age.
Yeah, completely correct. It looks like There's a raid here that does get caught by the Cossacks, so a little bit of a boon there for wookl. I'm sure that he was happy to pick that up.
One
And
strategy that
Boyars does finally come in. I'm sorry.
Boyars finally comes in, that's nice. One
Yeah.
strategy that Russia could try to use is because Germany is so coin heavy, he's forced to use a lot more mines. So maybe if Russia can kind of force them off of the mines and keep them on as little mines as possible, they might run out of safe mines, and then that could be an opportunity for Russia to have an advantage.
Yeah, that's exactly what you just described that is going on. Was attacking this
Yeah.
coin mine.
The Cossack coming out, raiding those villagers. No military units close to that. This is pretty huge. We have the militaries from both coming close. The infantry coming, meeting each other. Let's see
Oh, the
how much
Strelets
fighting's
actually get a
going
few
on.
pot shots on the war wagons, so I'm pretty sure that Luke was happy with that. But
Yeah. The Cossacks are doing a lot of work though. We'll look at units lost, and we can look at the how many villagers we lost. 3 settler wagons, 6 villagers down for Germany so far. It's another villager going down. That was pretty big. The settler wagons are basically worth 2 villagers, 2 population, and also they gather twice as fast as a regular villager. So that's the equivalent of about 13 villagers going down right there. That's pretty big.
that was quite the big raid. Unfortunately for Rugel, he did have to pay up in Cossacks to accomplish that. And at this point now, GUA has shipped to Jaegers, and has a big, massive skirmishers that's going to be very difficult for Rugel to deal with because it just lost all his Cossacks. And GUA, despite losing all those villagers, I think he's pretty happy with the position that he is in.
Yeah, I would be happy in the position still. The economy is a little bit in favor of wookl at this moment. We look at some of the units that are the upgrades that have come in. He's missing the Age 2 wood and coin upgrade, but he has steel traps. For the other side, we have Germany, who is missing the Age 1 and Age 2 wood upgrade and the Age 2 coin upgrade. The wood upgrades aren't that necessary for Germany, though. The coin, though, maybe he should have got picked up by now.
This
This is a
Cossack did these skirmishers, but that's just not quite enough. The war wagons are there to protect the skirmishers at this point.
Yeah, this is a really big fight coming in. This is probably going to call it. Yeah, wookl calls it GG. Yeah, you just have a lot better military units. The Jaegers are so strong, especially. They're somewhat comparable to like an Age 4 unit in Age 3. They're so strong. All right, that concludes game one. We'll look at some of the statistics, the post-game stats. What's your thoughts on that game in COG?
I think GUA played this like well. Obviously, of course he did. He won in a pretty decisive manner, but there was an engagement I think that happened pretty early on at the sort of like the 10-minute mark. Um, that's I think where Russia kind of lost the game. Like GUA kind of came out on top and then had the room to get out all of his fortress shipments and get all the upgrades and whatever. And Russia was kind of dead in the water at that point and already wasn't doing too hot. So it's kind of that big fight at the 10-minute 49 mark. I think that's the story of this game, among
Yeah,
other things, of course.
yeah, for sure. Russia opted to stay Age 2. Germany aged up, used his military shipments to gain an advantage, but Russia, Germany aged at 9 minutes 14 seconds about, and Russia did not attack until almost 2 minutes later. That's just giving your opponent so much time to get units out, Age 3 units out, mind you, and gain an advantage there. So perhaps if he had pushed in earlier, he might have done a little bit better. We will never know. We'll be on to game three very shortly. That was a great game. GiveUAnxiety just really showing how much he's worth there. Does really, really well. Another very decisive game from him. Yeah.
Yep. That's 2 points already for the Mila Ninjas. Those points will be going absolutely nowhere and will be kept by that team for the duration of EPL. So no matter what happens from this point onwards, GUA could lose the next 3 games. Like he's still like gotten 2 games in there. And I honestly don't really think that GUA is going to lose 3 games. I actually think that his performance compared to wookl is so um, solid. We might be seeing a 5-0 here if wookl doesn't
We could.
find his own
Yeah, for
a
sure.
break or something.
I apologize for last game and not having the score and the flag switched over. I will do so for the
Oh,
next game. It's my bad. Wukel locked Ottomans. We'll see what GiveUAnxiety picks up. He's not able to pick Germans again. Or this is game 3. Yeah, he's not able to pick Germans again. And for game 4, the civs will reset and they can pick British or Germany, whatever he chooses to again.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, indeed, the Civ rules do say you play 3 different civilizations before there will be a civilization reset. Um, I don't know whether or not that counts for winning or just let me have a look.
It doesn't matter if you win or lose.
Yeah.
At least that's what I've been told. Fraser River. This map is very interesting. It's somewhat similar to the first map, Kamchatka, but it is you can wall between the trade routes here. So it's a map that you could either wall and boom behind, or you could even you could put pressure upon the opponent's side and force them off of hunts and mines. So I'm not sure exactly what tactic will be used. We haven't seen GiveUAnxiety pick a Civ yet. Um, we will see it shortly.
GUA has historically had the Ottoman civilization in contempt, so and he is out of his he's out of his British pick, and he is also cannot play German at this point anymore. So I'm wondering what GUA's third civilization will be. I'm predicting France. I think he's familiar with that civilization, but I could be mistaken on that one.
Yeah, it could be a few different civs. I think another option might be Dutch. I think okay, it does look like he's going France. We'll see. I'm pretty sure that's what he's picked. What do you think of this map, Fraser River?
I actually really like it. It the, the 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 layout is a little bit different. You've got those 3 choke points through the river. You've got a bunch of trade posts, but they're there you go. And I don't. It's a fun map. I haven't quite fully mapped it out yet, but it's one that I'm liking thus far.
Yeah, I like it a whole lot. There's a variety of build orders that you're able to use on it, whether it be like an FF or a walling or like a boom and walling, or you can even rush really hard. All of them are very viable on this map.
It's really refreshing to see these different new designs. None of the other maps, I think, in history of Age of Empires 3 have approached even this layout with some cliffs, some rivers, some choke points, and whatever. And I don't know, it's just really cool and interesting to see.
I am
I
getting
will.
the scoreboard and the um, flags, the logos for each team set up correctly, and we'll get on there. It is 2 2-0 for. Come on.
GUA.
There we go. 2 for GUA and 0 for wookl currently. This is game 3, GiveUAnxiety versus wookl. We have GiveUAnxiety up 2 games, and the map is Fraser River. We have GiveUAnxiety that has picked French in the blue on the bottom left, and on the top right we have wookl in red as Ottomans. What do you think of the Civ matchup? It's a little bit interesting.
Yeah, this matchup is. I'm going back to Dairuga versus Kaiser Klein on, I think it was Iowa, where we just saw a Jan Falconet Fast Fortress playing against a French semi-fast fortress. And it was a wood start, so GOA will get that TP down almost immediately. So I could see that game panning out this way. This game panning out that way, I'm sorry. Uh, but wookl might have something else up his sleeve, maybe some Jan Abyss play.
Do we want to call a Civ or a map restart? I no, the binds are close enough. I think it's just yeah, it's a little bit far for Ottomans. I think it's fine. It's fine. Ottoman's second mine is a little bit farther away, and that I know it doesn't look like much, but it is just enough to perhaps make a big difference. A little bit out of reach of the town center.
Yeah, no, you are correct. That second mine is completely out of reach of the town center, whereas I guess so is the French mine. The
The
second
French
French mine
is
not
just a little bit
contested.
closer. Yeah,
Yes, yes, it is.
it's
Um,
I don't think it's enough to call this or a map restart. But it's that could come into play for sure.
wookl thus far has not said anything, and he does know about his mine. Just
Yeah,
scouted it. Without anything from the players, I would just continue to play this on.
yeah, for sure.
But I definitely agree with you that that's a consideration.
This is so not only are there 3 choke points that it's possible to wall if you are trying to go a little bit greedier start, but you can also technically wall your plateau that you have here. There's lots of cliffs around, 4 little choke points. So there's lots of choke points on this map that you can use effectively. It makes it pretty interesting. Lots of different strategies available. We look at the decks, a very standard one from France. He doesn't have he doesn't have 600 wood or 600 coin. He has all of his 700 crates, 1k wood, 1k coin, fair amount of military shipments. He does have 2 heavy cannons, both factories. Looking at Ottomans, has every single crate shipment in Age 2, 5 Janissaries, 3 cavalry. He doesn't have any of his Abus cards. I don't know, is that standard in 1v1 to not have any Abus cards ever?
Yeah, I feel like you wouldn't have time for those cards to pay. If you really want to get the crates out, you want to get some Spahi or some Janissaries or the Falconets out. Maybe the Manchu and the Mamelukes. I think add a little bit more to a 1v1
Yeah,
than the Abyss upgrades. They're just too slow, I feel, in a 1v1.
yeah.
But yeah, that's how I would see it.
I can understand that. With this deck though, he does have Silk Road, an interesting card. Since he has so many crates, I could possibly see him sending that early. One option I know that is pretty viable as Ottomans is to do an FF, getting a bunch of Janissaries, a Falconet out or 2 Falconets out and pushing hard. That it doesn't look like that's even really. I guess it's a possibility with his deck, but it doesn't seem like something that he is going for. We'll go to the shipment sent and the units in queue for you guys. wookl does send 700 coin. It I guess I got to eat my words. He does indeed look like he's going for an FF.
Yep, just a straight FF. Um, I feel like it's just going to be some Jan Abyss. And then some villagers are coming forward, no doubt, to slap down a barracks. And GUA, in the meantime, you know, what is he up to? What is he up to with the wood
I have
that he
no
has stocked?
idea what he's up to. He has a shipment, I think, that's on the way right now. We don't know what it is.
He's actually
Um,
housed.
yeah, he is.
He has 500 wood and he's housed. And how
His
barracks does
his
go
native
down?
scout does find the forward military building, the barracks from Ottomans.
Yeah, okay, I think I understand. I think GUA was kind of scout what exactly he was facing before placing down his barracks. Um, I, I could be wrong, but I think that's the rationale behind it. GUA is much too good of a player to forget to make buildings.
Yeah, he perhaps could have even looked at the deck. I don't think it's normal to have every single Age 2 crate card, and he might have been thinking that Ottomans was trying to do some Age 2 pressure. It doesn't scream an FF deck with that with his deck, but perhaps wookl threw him off with that deck. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you're correct in your analysis on that. But wookl is almost up to the Fortress Age. We do have the first coming to the barracks, and they're going to make a beeline towards the French base. GUA, I think, is going for his own naked FF at this point.
It does appear so. He has just about the food that that is required. I'm not sure if it's going to work though. He hasn't even clicked up yet, and Ottomans is age 3. Well, just now. There we go. And I'm guessing he's going to send the Falconets pretty soon, get some more units out, put a lot of pressure, give you anxiety. Okay, he's aging up fast to age 3. So he'll be able to respond soon to it. The one really nice thing is France is you have a lot of HP on your villagers, and you can fight with them pretty effectively. If we look at them, they do have great coats. They don't have blunderbuss yet. Is that how you pronounce it? Blunderbuss or blunderbuss? Whatever. But yeah, they're able to fend off just with villagers, basically. There's a couple musketeers there. We look at the units lost. It's just 2 musketeers lost for GiveUAnxiety, so it's pretty much defending with just his villagers.
Yeah. GiveUA was doing a rather good job defending with minimal amount of units. The musketeers were kind of running around the Janissaries, and he did lose only 1 CDB, but so far it's pretty good. On the other hand, wookl is rallying in 8 Janissaries at this point. Going to join up with the 7 over here. That's 15 total, and 1 Hussar left.
Yeah, we don't have anything but a barracks down from wookl. So if you look at his deck, he does have 5 Hussar, 5 Spahi, and a few other options: Mamelukes, Manchu, Avis guns, even Falconets. But he doesn't have a variety of units yet. It's all Janissaries. So we'll see if that affects him.
These Janissaries are now fighting off the minute. He's just going to clean that up while he can do it outside of the TC firing range. 5 Dragoons did come in for GiveUA. Not the best shipment, not the worst shipment. I mean, Skirms would do better here, but I don't think that GiveUA has the knowledge that we do to make that call. Right?
Yeah. Well, he does have the native scout on the forward base, so he can see that there's no stable there at least, and the forward villagers he still sees, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. I feel like the skirmishers definitely would have been better. Maybe he was expecting falconets or even some cavalry to be shipped, so he just went for the safer option, I suppose, with the goons.
Yeah, it's really interesting having Goon Musketeer as the unit composition of choice from GiveUA. These Janissaries are now veteran Janissaries, 252 HP. That's quite a lot. And wookl is playing this just a little bit carefully. Oh, 2 Falconets out for the French player as well, so this is now a Falconet war.
Yeah. With the defender being GiveUAnxiety, having a little bit of an advantage, he's able to see when the opponent comes in a little bit better, and should theoretically be able to position his cannons a little bit better because of that.
Yeah, that scout, you're right. That scout is looking to the cannons right now, trying to be on top of it. But wookl did decide to go instead for this trade post and just take that out, kind of for free.
Yeah.
GiveUA is actually running out of runs, by the way. He has to push out to the guns right here.
Yeah, that's something about this map. If you do FF, you have to be able to push out. You have to use your advantage of military to be able to push out. It looks like GiveUAnxiety is pushing up, going to take out this blockhouse while Ottomans went for the trade post. Ottomans is coming back. We'll see what happens with this next fight. As you were mentioning earlier, muskets with goons is a very interesting choice, especially when the opponent has no cavalry of their own.
Yeah.
Not currently, at least. And the spot he come out. So that was a good preemptive decision.
He's packing. No, don't pack now, don't pack now. And now the Falconets of the Ottomans. Oh, that was so close.
The muskets are caught off. If the Spahi come and clean them up, ooh. Spahi can do pretty well versus age 2 musketeers, actually. They clean them up pretty well if they're in somewhat equal numbers. I think it looks like they're trying to go for the Falconets, though. It's a little bit higher prize. I can understand that.
Yeah, these Spahi are a good swing in military strength for the Ottoman player. They can pick up the musketeers that, they're, as you pointed out, they're only not upgraded, which was kind of a weird way to put it. But yeah, they do connect now. GiveUA is going to lose all 10 of those musketeers for free. The Falconets just raining.
Yep.
So much damage. That was brutal.
Yeah, for sure. Cannons with the Spahi and the Janissaries behind that wasn't even close to a fair fight. We do have Ottoman
And
still on 1 TP. He is behind, though, in the recalculated economic unit population. It's it's looking, I don't know. The military is bigger for Ottomans, but the economy is better for GiveUAnxiety. We've seen that before in this match. Game 1 and Game 2 kind of had a similar um, tactics from both players. GiveUAnxiety came out with both, so perhaps this is kind of going into GiveUAnxiety's playbook.
oh, this is going to be big right here for the spot here. They're going to have to force the fight here.
Yeah, for sure.
They're going to have to take it. Those Falconets do get a big buff.
The villagers run right by the falconets. It looks like, okay, and he just pulls back, uses the pull trick to get the Spahi back. The falconets, neither player is trying to commit. As soon as there's a fight breaking out, they try to pull back. It's very risky. There's lots on the line right here.
No, for sure. The game, I think, is almost onto the exchange between the two falconets. Whoever comes out on top on that one will have the falconets left over to deal with either the skirmishers or the janissaries, depending on which side you are rooting for.
Yep.
One volley comes out, and GUA does pull back from there. This is the game right here.
For sure. It's really close.
And then, but you know what he's gonna do?
That's a lot of cav. The falconets go down.
Ow.
Both falconets still alive for wookl. That is really big. Falconets, the cannons are really important. This might be the game, honestly, for GiveUAnxiety.
I believe that's the game. GUA is going to take his villager attempt to attack these cannons with them, but the Spahi and the Hussar are right on top of them, and the Janissaries are also going to be protecting. I think GUA is just trying to get the cannons for the sake of getting them, and has abandoned.
Yeah, GG. wookl takes it back, so we have 2-1 in favor of wookl. That was a good game for sure. I'm glad it's not a straight sweep. Keeps it a little more interesting. That was a very good game, very close. You can see how close some of these games have been. Just a little bit more advantage one way or the other, and with a bigger military, you can beat the stronger economy.
That was really well played by wookl. He did an Ottoman FF and executed it pretty carefully. So that was well played by him. GOA losing those 10 musketeers, I think that was the beginning of the end for him. And the initial jams that came in as well also did accomplish quite a bit. GOA was unable to get a good mass of French military units out, and that kind of penalized him at the end point of the game. It's really well played by wookl right there on that one.
Yeah, this map rewards really good tactical positioning. We see there that GiveUAnxiety had his army just split just so much, and that when wookl came in, he was forced to split the musketeers off from his main army, and they were caught off guard. That was, I agree, kind of the beginning of the end for the military advantage, at least being in well. GiveUAnxiety was able to take out the outpost due to positioning, and then he was kind of behind after that point on. All right, that concludes game number 3 of GiveUAnxiety versus wookl week 1. We will be on to game number 4 very shortly. Yeah, that was an exciting game.
And it really was. And now the civilizations have reset, so GUA is going to be able to play British again, or the French, should he so desire. And wookl might be able to replicate his success with the Ottomans, should he so desire.
The 4th map is Adirondacks. It's a map. What's the key points of Adirondacks in your opinion?
Adirondacks, it's a fairly aggressive map. The town centers are not very far away from each other. You're literally just across from one another. There's some sea that you can do some stuff with on that one. It's actually a pretty good map. I really like it. 3 trade posts, so nothing crazy. But yeah, it's a good map. I really enjoy games on Adirondacks. They tend to be shorter, I feel.
Yeah,
MDS.
there is an option for water on it. I believe, let's see, doesn't give you anxiety picks first, right?
Let me see.
I
That was
believe
Nilla
so.
Ninjas for game 2, so it'll be MDS game 3. This is
This is
game
game four, so GUA
4, so
does
Nilla
indeed pick
Ninjas.
first. Adirondacks. So we got the water. There's a little bit of water. It's not a whole lot though. We don't see water used too much, but it is an option. Water is one of the best ways to boom. GUA does in fact pick British, one of his best civs for sure. We'll see what wookl brings to the table versus his Brits. Last time it was China. I don't know if he's going to go with that again. It didn't seem like there was um, Japan. Interesting.
Ooh, Japan.
I
Nice,
kind of
nice
like
pick.
this choice because GiveUAnxiety has chosen to uh, get an economy lead before he even builds military units a lot of the time, and Japan is an option that can kind of go toe to toe with British as far as booming potential. Not quite as strong in my opinion, but it's up there. It's a different approach from wookl. I don't think he's going to be going heavy rush. It's a possibility with Japan. It would have to be an all-in rush, but I would the meta would definitely be to boom a little bit more with Japan.
Hmm. That's an interesting pick, yeah, for sure. I think this matchup has always been a. Some people traditionally tend to like to favor the British, but I don't know if I agree with that all that much.
On this
But yeah,
map, though,
we
specifically, maybe it favors Japan a little bit because you do actually basically have villager shipments because you can send fishing boats and and use them. Um, so we have the same GiveUAnxiety versus wookl. This is game number 4 of the of week 1 GiveUAnxiety versus wookl. We have the on the right we have wookl spawning as Japan. Looks like a coin start, and for the GiveUAnxiety spawning on the left with British with blue. For the map, the mines seem decently fair, perhaps a little bit GiveUAnxiety favored, but it's really close. This mine right here and this mine right here are a little bit off, but I think it's close enough. That would be pretty much their fourth or fifth mine. So
yeah,
I think
so
that's fine.
yeah, that's pretty even map. I was having a look at that, yeah, but it was a coin start as you pointed out, and GUA did mined a little bit of coin out of off that silver mine and did buy himself 100 wood and also pick up hunting dogs. So a market start for GUA, and I think wookl is also going for that market. Yep, there we go.
GiveUAnxiety started off with getting a native scout, which is really good. He he crossed the orchard rickshaw earlier, and one thing that you can actually do is the orchard rickshaws die pretty quickly to the explorer mealing them. And if he brought the scout along too, he might have been able to force it to at least go up far away from his town center. I'm not sure if he missed that or if he just let it go. I don't know. That would have been very interesting if it's very far from his town center. If he had forced it to go up far from his town center, that's almost like an extra 5,000 wasted food for Japan.
Yeah, no, you are correct. I guess he just ignored it and just felt like he would not, force that issue or lame the orchard rickshaw in that manner.
We do have
Uh,
3 fishing boats coming out as Japan. Like I was saying, you almost have unit shipments due to it being a little bit of water. So it definitely gives Japan a little bit of favor, especially on a map where neither player is going to go heavy water. It gives you the ability to basically have more villagers.
yeah, it's one of the better shipments to send as Japan if you are on a water map. Get the fishing boats out there. It's 3 fishing boats as opposed to 2 vills. They can gather pretty much unhindered throughout the entirety of the game. It's just a really good shipment for Japan to have, a little bit different from the other civilizations.
Looking at the
And
decks, they're actually very interesting. Japan has a few warship cards, mostly land. He does have, of course, the 3 fishing boats, but he has a couple warship cards. He didn't go with a consulate right away, so a ports consulate at least. So that's telling me that he's not focusing on getting the 3 fishing boats from that ASAP. The GiveUAnxiety also at the same time though has a few fishing boat cards. He doesn't have any warship cards, but he has schooners, whale oil, and fish market. So that could definitely come into play. It would be warships versus fishing boats. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I'm interested in the schooner shipment out of GUA. No warships to contest the map, and also there are no whales on this map either, so the whale oil is not going to be useful per se. But I feel like, with the rest of the shipments that GUA has in deck, the schooners is going to be sort of a back pocket, last resort sort of option, and he's just going to focus on some standard land play on this map. That's my guess. I could be wrong in my speculation, but
I think it
he
might be
has
a
all the
little bit of
shipments.
mind games, honestly, because GUA, he has the warship cards, and I'm sorry, wookl has the warship cards. GUA having those 3 cards in his deck, he could have seen the opponent having worship cards and then shipped or chose his deck. I don't know who chose the deck first, but if he did, he could maybe force wookl to send some worship cards when he doesn't even have any fishing boats out.
Yeah, that's a good point. If you're playing Japan and you see a deck like that, you're kind of wondering whether or not he's on water or not. Might send the warships just preemptively to deal with that. We did see that earlier today. But yeah, that's a very fair point. GUA did put down 8 barracks in the middle part of the map, as well as an outpost, and I have a feeling that we're going to be seeing some musketeers out of him, and some aggressive play as well.
Yeah, definitely much more aggressive than his game 1. He's not main or booming right now. He hasn't sent Virginia Company. On the other side, we have wookl who went with a Japanese consulate as opposed to Portuguese. So it looks like he's trying to get some units out a little bit sooner, not shipping those 3 fishing boats from the port's consulate. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
indeed. Some Yamabushi clubmen are in queue here for the Japanese player, as well as some Yumi on the field as well. Going to be a very good, unit set to deal with musketeers early on in the game. But of course, that means that the Japanese player will not be shrine booming.
This is
So
true.
perhaps this aggressive play out of GUA is going to play a little bit more into his favor because GUA still has like 80 mana, so that's quite a few villagers out on the map already.
Yeah, looking at the economy, GUA is slightly in the lead, but it's still extremely close. Um, wookl has the bigger military at the moment. He's training some Yumi. He canceled them. And on the other side, we have British has a longbow out. We'll see if he builds a full batch of them. It's getting 3 out currently. Got a shrine going up for wookl. He kind of needs that though because he's popped right now. He's at 42 out of 40 population.
Hmm. Yeah, this is interesting already. I feel like GUA is just in the lead just due to like the natural way the game sort of panned out, despite there like not being much of an exchange between both players. wookl is pushing out on the map with his Yumi, and but they're not very beefy units, and they're both armies kind of cross paths without knowing it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
this could set up wookl for like a flank if he's not careful.
We do see that GUA did build some mainers, yet despite that, wookl has the economy advantage right now. He sent 4 villagers as his 3rd card, so his army could get cleaned up here though.
This
They're
is
kind of
this is
getting trapped.
such a dicey situation for wookl at this point. Like there we go. Like GUA has kind of pinned him around sort of corner, I guess. The Yumi should be able to slip out to the north and only lose 1 or 2 of their number, depending on how well GUA micros his long moment. But
He's
yeah,
done
that
really
was a
well
little bit
so far.
aggressive.
I
Yeah,
expected those Yumi to be caught off guard completely, but he's done a really good job trying to get them out. We'll see if he continues to if he's able to get them out completely. He might use the trade post to kind of give himself a little bit of a buffer between him and GUA's army.
Yep. No, you're correct. He did manage to sneak around that Huron. Should be able to get him, out of these dangerous waters, so to speak. These longbowmen here, though, these 4 will get a few pot shots off.
Yep.
Do pick off a Yuumi. Maybe a second one will join. But yeah, that was quite the runaround.
Yeah, for sure. We'll look at the total military units for both sides. We have 13 Yuumi and 5 Yamabushi for Japan. And on the other side, we have 20 muskets and 17 longbows. So definitely largely in favor of GiveUAnxiety. But he's actually pretty far behind in economy at this point. So it's kind of the tables have turned. GUA, instead of having the better economy and wookl having the bigger military, the tables have turned and it flipped.
Yeah, you're right. We're gonna be seeing some defensive play out of wookl at this point, and he does have defender's advantage. He does have a stable that did go up, so he can get some Naginata riders out, and he with that economic lead that he got from going 4 villager, he might be able to translate that into a bigger military a little bit down the line, and maybe blindside GUA, but we'll have to see how that pans out. Again, the British do have the ability to kind of ship, more villagers, but forget about all that. Looks like the GUA is pushing into the Japanese base.
Yeah, looking at this comparison between the Yuumis and the longbows, they're pretty similar actually. 100 HP and 20 attack for the Yuumis. Well, on the other hand, it's 95 HP and 17 attack for the longbows. However, the longbows have a faster rate of fire, so it's actually very, very close. They're very similar units.
Yeah, they are. Yuumi, just a good. Oh, there we go. The daimyo does come out. Daimyo Motoda does join the fight and going to be able to buff the HP of all these units.
We have 40 military units on the 40 musketeer, 39 musketeers from GUA, and we have 13 longbows. Well, on the other hand, it's just 18 Yuumi. The Naganatas are trained, but it's largely a musketeer army. I don't think they're going to find that much value here.
No, you are correct. This is such a dicey situation here for the Japanese. There's so much on the British side of the field. So many musketeers and so many longbowmen. The longbowmen are where they want to be, just sitting there and firing at a standstill.
We do have 7 more longbow coming in. The daimyo goes down. That was actually really key. GiveUAnxiety sieged the Wonder a lot. And instead of firing with his units, I think that wookl is going to be able to push this back because of it.
Yeah, we'll have to see a few more batches of Japanese infantry units now. But yeah, the Yuumi are just doing right now. And these musketeers are just eating so many arrow shots. I think that wookl is pretty satisfied with that exchange, despite the daimyo going down.
Yeah, I would be too. We look at the units lost. It's 26 muskets, 19 longbows, and a villager from GiveUAnxiety. Well, on the other hand, it's 20 Yuumi, 5 Naganatas, 2 Ashi, and a daimyo from Japan. Losing the daimyo was definitely a mistake. They boost the units so much. Yeah, he's using the musketeer to watch the hunts, make sure that there's no more shrines coming up from Japan. Japan is coming over, cleaning. Yeah, I like that a lot too. It's not something you see always. If Japan can build tons of shrines, he can gain an advantage. It looks like this Wonder is going to go down. He used GiveUAnxiety, expected the army to go there possibly, and was waiting to siege down the Toshugu shrine while it was away.
That is quite a few longbowmen. It looks like GUA was able to his infantry pretty well. And the 2 villager Wonder does go down. Naginata riders are chasing after the longbowmen, and the Yuumi are again shooting at the musketeers, which is what you want them to do. we're gonna have to see how this pans out. But I think a bunch of Yumi and Ashigaru in the back are not firing for
Yeah, they're
Japanese
just
players.
staying idle right there. That's definitely a mistake. We look at the economy. Brits has pulled ahead ever so slightly. They have a bigger military too. I think perhaps Japan's army was just told to attack move and they were sitting over the explorer there. And that happens sometimes.
Yeah, GUA has pulled ahead now. He is ahead uh, military population. He is ahead in economic population, and he does have the attack upgrade on these musketeers, making them very, very cost effective, as opposed to the Ashigaru, who have no upgrades on them whatsoever yet. Ashi are not the most cost effective units before they get those upgrades stacked on them. So things are looking pretty good here for GUA, I think, and the scores are reflecting that.
Yeah, for sure. The military unit population is neck and neck. The eco is pretty similar too. This is anyone's game at the moment. The Naginata coming in on the longbows, that could be a good engagement, but he pulls back a little bit. Sometimes just the threat of cav can make can mess up an enemy a lot. Moving your musketeers around and not firing with them just so that you can deal with the cavalry is definitely an advantage for the player with the cavalry. It looks like the Naginata get cleaned up though. The Yumi were idled all in the back a lot. It's very, very close fight. Let's see what happens with it.
Looks like the longbowmen just have the edge right there in that standing still fight. Again, they do, as you mentioned, fire at twice the rate of other infantry units right here in the game. So that 17 attack goes up to 34 if they get to stand still and shoot.
They also have 2 more range. Sorry, 4 more range. 4 more range from the longbowmen is pretty big, honestly. More Naginata coming in. I'm not sure wookl wants to take this, honestly. I don't.
Yeah, some more
It's really
musketeers
close.
do join the fight, so that's good for GUA. But at the same time, that's quite a few units for wookl as well.
I think at this point, whoever micros better might win this fight, but wookl does pull back. Yeah, that was kind of a waste. He lost his cavalry, didn't kill too many other units, and he just pulls back. He's at 23 military unit population to GiveUAnxiety's 44 at the moment.
Yeah. The musketeers also have the AoE upgrade on them as well, so they're even more cost effective than before. And these Naginata, they're just getting trickled in like 5 at a time and not getting to that critical mass where they're really effective.
Yeah, and there's a lot of muskets out from GiveUAnxiety too. He's kept a good mass of them the whole time. It looks like we do have a raid on the bottom side. We've got lots of muskets coming, or Ashi taking out villagers. It looks like 2 villagers are going to go down, no more than that though.
It does disrupt the hunting on this hunt, which is definitely a boon that we need as of right now. So I definitely appreciate that raid. We do have another raid going up to the time with Naginata Riders.
Yeah,
we will find that spotter musketeer. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No problem. It looks like we had all of the musketeers coming back from GiveUAnxiety trying to chase those 6 Ashi right there, but he decided to go against that and move forward with his whole army. GiveUAnxiety has a much bigger military, about twice the military size right now. See if he can use it.
I feel like I feel like this is indeed good. Right, these musketeers are ready. A ton of them on the map. This raid here by wookl is really good, and there's no military units in sight for GUA. But at the same time,
I mean, he's killing shrines at the same time though, so eco for eco, right? The 10 cav or however much it is doing a lot versus that raid. I don't know how wookl takes this back at the moment, honestly. The economy is really close, but the military just favors GUA so much.
It really does. There's a British juggernaut on the map who is in no position to even contest it, despite having a strong counter, which is the Yumi Archer. But these Yumi have no upgrades on them. All they have is the consulate buff from the Japanese isolationism.
Right.
Yeah, this is looking pretty tricky here for wookl. Not only that, GUA is very careful. He's sieging the shrines that are out on the map. He's making sure that he can you know, take what he can get for free and doesn't commit to the big risky plays.
Yeah, one thing about Japan is if you do not have any map control or map, if your army is much smaller, the opponent can destroy all your shrines on the map, and your economy is going to suffer a lot. So if your military is worse, your economy can be worse depending on how the opponent plays it. Then that's what GUA's done very well. He's played it quite well.
He definitely has. I feel like we're seeing some guerrilla tactics here out of wookl, which I definitely appreciate. You know, a bunch of villagers are getting pushed off hunts and he's not gathering.
Yeah, he's
But
attempt.
it's still like 100 population, military population for GUA versus 55 for wookl. It's like 10 to 1. Sorry,
2
2
to
to 1.
1. Yeah. I appreciate what he's doing though. When your opponent has a lot bigger military, if you can just keep their military busy running around, then and split up, then you at least have an opportunity to come out ahead. You're not always going to, but that's your best chance. If you just engage them head on or defend head on, then you're just going to lose. So at the moment, wookl has his whole military in one spot. GUA's is matching it all at the same spot. And I don't know that that wookl is going to have a chance here.
GUA is just jamming everything in. Just the play that he could have gone for a little bit. These Hussar are doing, you know, not so hot actually. They connected with Yamabushi and these Ashi are really picking them off.
That's
but
true.
at the same time, still so many musketeers are left over here for GUA.
Yeah. I mean, wookl had the defender's advantage. I mean, if you have to fight whole army versus whole army, it's as good of an advantage as you could have gotten with the sentries being called. I believe it was 2 batches being sent. He has the card, the enlist irregulars, and he also has the Japanese upgrade that allows you to pump more than 5 units out of a military building at a time. I saw a pop of I think 7 Ashi at one point during that fight. So it does look like he pushes him off, but for how long? I mean, the military is still 2 to 1 in favor of GUA, and he has no wookl has no map control whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. He does not. Uh, I feel like GUA can do whatever he wants here. He can make some more musketeers and just go for it a second time and just kill off wookl, or he can go up to the next stage, get some falconets, and kill off wookl.
It
He
looks
could
like
also fast
GUA is,
industrial and
yeah,
kill off wookl.
fast
I mean, he can do
going
whatever he
industrial is
wants.
an option. It might be slow industrial at this point, but GUA is aging up indeed. We'll see if he goes to age 4 or if he stays age 3, gets the just uses the military advantage, perhaps uses his 2 falconet shipment, maybe even the yeomen, making his longbowmen have 26 range. We'll see what he does.
Let the record state that my industrial remark was a joke, but that was a pretty good kickoff.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right
that was a
there.
good few good villagers going down. A little bit of a raid. I mean, at this point, you got to take everything you can. wookl does have the economy lead, so if there's no fighting that goes on for the next, 5-10 minutes, perhaps wookl could take this back into his favor. But currently, he's not aging up. He's stuck a little bit in age 2. He doesn't have any mines left. So I don't know where he's going to get his coin from this point.
Yeah, he's kind of dead in the water at this point. Perhaps this would have been a good time uh, to go for the water, maybe as the Japanese player, but I don't think it's.
There's no whales on the water. There's only fish. He doesn't have a problem with food currently. His problem is whales, or coin rather. So maybe he's going to try to get a rice paddy out. I don't know. It feels like you're
I
almost
mean,
deciding to or succumbing to defeat at that point though.
yeah. If there's any clear indication, start making rice paddies or mills when the other player is out on the map.
He does send 2
Uh,
more cherry orchards, so it gives him, some more food. Japan is one of those civilizations that allows you to turtle more than almost any other civilization. But yeah.
mm.
I don't know what chance wookl has here. Coin is just so important.
I might give him a 3% chance to come back into this game.
3% chance. Maybe he can do a fast imperial on the back end of it.
I mean, maybe. That was a little bit catty out of myself. I apologize for could not resist.
No, it's fine. No, humor is well deserved and great. It's really important.
All right, here you go. Here's the 3% chance.
The
Right
3%
there.
chance. Maybe if he
5
got a
falconets.
bunch, is it H3 when you get the stealthy units? You could stealth on top of the falconets.
The shinobi. I think you actually get those in so
Colonial
maybe
Age?
he could get a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it colonial?
I'm not sure,
I don't know.
honestly. I
Yeah,
don't.
hold on.
I'm not a Japan main. I feel bad that I'm not at this point, but wookl calls it the military 5 falconets. Yeah, it was GG. wookl is just trying to hold on, hoping that something went in his favor. I can respect his wanting to try hard and just try to make anything happen, hold on as long as he can. But yeah, GUA did a wonderful job just controlling the map, not allowing many shrines to be up, and just keeping the opponent penned in.
Yeah. Uh, I think GOA kind of won this game a little while back, and just kind of smothered his opponent from there. And I do respect both players in that GUA was not trying to force the issue and just made sure to get more ahead with his lead. And then wookl in the meantime, kind of playing it out, trying to get that last win in if he could for his team. I do, appreciate both players on that one.
Yeah, it was interesting. Not until the very end did GUA get all 3 trade posts. For most of the map, no one had any trade posts, which is understandable. Japan can build shrines, and GUA can build, British can build mainers. Although perhaps Japan grabbing this trade post by his base could have done a little bit of something.